All right, this is Ted Hicks from Late Night Parents. Ways to follow the show, latenightparents.com. Here with Kyle Harding, collegiate athlete, basketball player extraordinaire. Um, Kyle, how you doing? This is a long time in the making.
Yes, sir. I'm doing pretty well. Pretty well
That's,
out here in Arkansas, enjoying this new life, new school.
that's good. That's good. Do you think? Did you ever think that your athletic talents would lead you out to Arkansas?
Not at all. Arkansas out of all places? Nah, definitely not Arkansas. Um, Obviously going from New York to California to Texas, Houston. I thought that was it. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously having dreams of playing professional, whether that's NBA or overseas, overseas I can go all different types of countries, but Arkansas, nah, that was probably the last place I was thinking about.
Okay, hang on one second. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay, I think I'm gonna go with this option. I hope the audio is clear. Trying a new application.
No,
A
it's all
little bit
clear.
of static
For like
on.
2 words, I heard an echo, but it went away. It went right away.
Okay, I'm trying a new application. Hang on one second. Mike. All right, testing 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2. I still hear some slight feedback. Let's see. All right, let's test this out. All right, this might sound a little bit better. I'm not sure, but we will be able to tell when we do the audio pod. But so Kyle, so tell me this much: you're out there, you're in the new school, you're in the new area that you've never lived before. What are some of the, I guess, immediate issues or the immediate what were the things that really opened your eye?
Mm, Out here, honestly, just being in the fact that I'm in Arkansas alone is just like, you know,
It's like head
but
scratching.
yeah, it's just like, okay, when I wake up, I'm like, all right, I'm in Arkansas, like, not New York, not any of these crazy cities. I'm in literally Arkansas. And it's like a part of Arkansas where it's not really much going on. I mean, there's two other colleges in this area. I'm in Conway, Arkansas. So it's
Okay.
not really much, not like a city vibe. It's just these couple schools and a couple stores, and that's really it, and highway. So, I mean, I would say that. Honestly, I haven't really gotten around to see anything that's like really eye opening or
Does
mind
your
boggling or
city
anything like that.
does your city like shut down like 9 10 o'clock at night? Is it one of those type of
I don't think
situations?
so because we have the two colleges right here, but I haven't really been outside like that to even know if it's shut down or not. Um, I would say I'm around coming from Houston, where it was I was at an
You switch
HBCU
on
where it was what happened?
Oh no, someone was checking in.
Oh
This
yeah,
was
yeah. Nah, I'm saying coming from Houston, I was at an HBCU, so it was black people everywhere. And then
right.
now transitioning to here is I don't really see too many black people. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Other than like my teammates, but no, I mean it wasn't nothing crazy. It's not too hard of an adjustment.
It's not too hard of a transition or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. No.
I definitely do want to get into your backstory and everything else.
Hmm.
Today, I want to just talk about FIBA basketball.
Okay.
Um, I'm not really sure what to say, but in the last 36 hours, we watched something. Well, first of all, a lot of us in America didn't get the chance to see a lot of these games.
Yeah, they were on at 4 a.m., 3 a.m.
So so you needed to have ESPN.
Hmm.
You needed to have, yeah, you like a login to ESPN because obviously you would look to see the replay of that specific game.
Right.
But we looked, we saw the select team, we saw USA basketball, we saw the FIBA. Hey Carmen, how you doing? So we saw with FIBA basketball and everything else like that. I just wanted your take on FIBA getting, I mean, Team USA getting knocked out. Um, Speak to me from your knowledge of USA basketball and of from an executive level,
Hmm.
meaning like a Grant Hill level, down to a Steve Kerr level, down
Yeah.
to an exact, an actual player. It seemed like, from my viewpoint, there were failures everywhere. But what would you see as being an actual collegiate basketball player?
Player. From a player's perspective, first off, growing up watching Team USA, it was always the best players playing. I think what happened was once Paul George's injury happened,
Right,
a lot of the top players started to back out. And after that, they decided to just select players and choose who they felt gelled together and could play the right way, to play the way that they wanted to play, and represent America pretty much. And I don't think that's a bad thing, but these, like I said earlier, these other countries aren't coming to play around.
correct.
So we may have gotten over with it for a year or two or something like that, a couple of games, but eventually, it's some NBA players that's on these other teams, and like I said, they're not playing around. Everybody wants to beat America. So knowing we got the target on our back, I felt like the team selection process was kind of off. You know what I'm saying? I think we didn't even have tier two players, like at least a Darian Fox or somebody like that. Like they just went with who they think fits the right roster, I guess. But without having any real star or like Trey Young, Steph Curry, we had Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson. And I'm not saying that they're not good, but it's just like, why not send out our best if we're gonna represent, America? Knowing that these countries are growing, basketball is growing, the league is there's a lot of Europeans, there's a lot of foreign players in the league that are dominating. So, I mean, the average person would know, like, all right, we got to send some hitters. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And what we noticed was recently, with I guess within 12 hours of the situation of Team USA losing, now we hear LeBron James and
Oh yeah, because
I
it's
guess he's
almost
putting together the Avengers.
it's almost like it's embarrassing a little bit. When before the Redeem team, before that came out, you know what I'm saying? When USA was losing, like players, the whole country feels embarrassed that we lose. We're in America, we're not supposed to lose in anything. So I could see why LeBron and Kyrie, whoever, KD, I could see why they would come out and play for this next 2024.
Right. So we know what's going to happen with the Olympics. I'm still getting some feedback on my side. Let's see. I'm sorry about this.
Nah, it's so cool, so cool.
Let's see. It was working fine before. Let's see. Let's try this. Reduce background noise. Let's see. Okay. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I get it.
All right. Hope it's I hope it's a little bit better. Um, but if not, then we'll definitely re-record this. To say it was embarrassing, to say it was an embarrassing situation. I just think the world has gotten better,
For sure.
and we are at the point where we're picking B-level players.
B,
And I don't
maybe.
want to I don't want to say B as in being a bad thing, but it's not
Nah.
the top-notch players.
B, I would say C level, C and D level players.
These are more like the players that are just happy to be there.
Yeah,
And
and it's not that they're not good. It's just like this is the world game. You know what I'm saying? This is we supposed to send you. You're supposed to send your best of the best.
right,
Your best versus every country's best, not the C B level play. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
not only that, but Kyle, what I noticed was not only were the players smaller, but the players were also light. So you're sitting there and you're getting muscled out,
Yeah,
or you're sitting there and you're putting Mikal Bridges on you're asking him to guard a power forward.
yeah, nah, that's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
I don't know. So outside of and the other thing is okay. So now LeBron James wants to get involved. I guess he
Hmm.
wants to save the world. So be it. So let's
Yeah.
just say this does happen. Um, at the Grant Hill level or at the Steve Kerr level. And
Hmm.
I get it. I know the schedules are tight and everything else like that. Because from the NBA finals to FIBA, and this is
Yeah.
something that happens every 4 years, there's a small window.
Yeah. I think that's why Jamal Murray didn't play for Canada and Jokic didn't play for I think Serbia. Is that where he's
Right.
from? Serbia. But Serbia still went to the championship. So
Yes,
imagine if he did play. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if Jamal
exactly.
Murray did play for Canada.
I mean, there were at least what 7 or 8 NBA players on Canada.
Yeah.
I mean, top tier.
Yeah, nah, Canada's on the rise. Canada's definitely on the rise.
I mean, did you see what SGA was doing? Well, you see what SGA does during the regular season.
Yeah, he kills in the NBA. So I know he's all NBA first team.
Yes, he was
So,
cooking.
but Dylan Brooks had 39.
Dylan
You know what I'm
Brooks.
saying? So it's
Dylan,
like,
Dylan Brooks went from being the villain to being the hero, and they were chanting for him, and he drops 39.
yeah,
I,
he took the villain role. I mean, from a player perspective, I feel like he was just being competitive, and he thought doing what he did was, his team was going to get energy off of that, and it just so happened that they didn't have his back the way that they should have, but it kind of made him turn into that villain role. But him in Houston is going to be some.
so
But regardless, Dylan Brooks had 39.
he
That's
had
what we talking
39
about. You
points.
know what I'm saying? So
He had 39
that's
points.
crazy. I don't even know if he ever had 39 in the NBA.
No. I mean, the next thing I was going to ask you, what's your thoughts with Shea Gilgis Alexander for this upcoming season? Do you think this could be an MVP type season
Yeah,
for him?
for sure. With OKC's roster, I think they're gonna win a lot. I think they're gonna make the playoffs for sure. They have a lot of young pieces that are thriving. And Shea is just he's one of my favorite players right now. Honestly, he's different.
Yeah,
He's
no,
different.
he really is
Yeah,
different.
he's different. Superstar.
Um,
Can do it all. Score from all three levels. Makes clutch shots. Definitely an MVP type of year this year.
what was your thoughts on? I know you didn't get the chance to watch every game, but
Mhm.
shot selection by Anthony Edwards. Was he thinking shoot first too much and not thinking about the rest of the team because he was chucking?
He was, but I think he was trying to prove that he was that guy on the team. Them bringing him off the bench and all the talk around it. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I think he was the best player on the team. If we want to just keep it 100, but
Hmm.
the way they set up the teams, it was like everybody has a role. Everybody, I mean, it's like that no matter who you put on the team. But I just think all the outside noise kind of got to him, and he wanted to prove that I'm the best player on this team, and I guess it kind of threw off a lot of the stuff they had going on. Like I said, I didn't really watch a lot of it, which kind of makes me a little sad because the USA. That's my favorite. That's one of my some of my favorite basketball when the USA team plays. But yeah, I think Ant's tough. He was the best player on the team in my opinion, skill wise. But I think the shot selection comes from him trying to prove that I'm the guy, and it's tough playing as other players. It's tough playing with a guy who's trying to prove that, especially because he's young and he's up and coming, and they had him coming off the bench for like Austin Reeves. Not saying that Austin Reeves is not good, but it's just like he probably felt disrespected,
Right.
from a player's perspective.
What was your thoughts on Jaron Jackson Jr.? He 2.9. His he averaged 2.9 rebounds a game.
Rebounds. That's
Rebounds.
I don't know. I really don't know. Like Jared Jackson. I mean, when I watch him in Memphis, he seems like he's boarding a lot, blocking shots. He's the energy guy. He does it all. But I guess they just didn't get that. I don't know. The Team USA just didn't look like it was weird. The
It
little
was.
the little stuff I did see, it didn't. It wasn't like, oh, this is Team USA. It was like I'm watching the select team. Like when is Devin Booker going to come out? When is KD going to come out? Like that's what I was waiting on. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just a different vibe.
So I have maybe two more questions for you. I want to show you this right here. I want to share the screen, and it goes as follows. If you were the executive director, which team USA players will make the 2024 Olympic roster
From this team,
from this team? What are who would you choose to make the roster?
well, first off, let's eliminate some players.
Yes.
Bobby Portis should not be on the team,
Okay.
respectfully. Walker Kessler should not be on the team. Cam Johnson should not be on the team. Josh Hart should not be on the team. Uh, I like Tyrese. I like the way he was playing, but he shouldn't be on the team either. Jalen Brunson shouldn't be on the team. And these are all guys that I actually like. But
Yes.
when you're talking about Team USA, we supposed to
Team
put out better.
USA. We're
I
are
want,
we expecting like Damon Lillard,
yeah, Kyrie, Steph,
Kyrie, Jason
KD,
Tatum,
the best, yeah.
the best of the best?
Come on now,
And
Bobby
would you
Porter.
say like are these guys like the next tier?
I don't think so. I think they're a couple tiers down.
Because
And
all of these guys are getting paid ridiculous money. So we can't. measure it on money.
No, you can never measure it on money. I think it's should be the best, like the best players, literally. None of these guys are
Never got
top
the
10, top 20 in the NBA, other than maybe Brandon Ingram and Anthony Edwards on
right,
his way up.
right. I never got the Josh Hart selection, but
Yeah.
it's whatever. Um, Even Cam Johnson, I'm a definitely a Nets fan. Love Cam,
I
but
love his game,
I didn't see that.
but it's just like it was Dwayne Wade, LeBron, Kobe, Chris Paul, Jason
Right,
Kidd, like Dwight Howard. We
right.
have, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, Bobby Portis.
It's a huge drop off.
Yeah,
Um,
it's bad.
in your eyes, how does Steve Kerr is does he get some of the blame along with the players because of his rotations and
Partially,
um,
you could. It's always. It's never just on one person. You know what I'm saying? It's not one player or a few players or the players or the coaches. Obviously, it's a collective effort. The Team USA lost, not just Steve Kerr. You know
right,
what I'm saying? But
right.
he was the one leading them, and I'm pretty sure he was doing the best that he could. But when you don't have that stuff, like when he coaches the Warriors, I think
It's
he's a
the
great coach.
Warriors,
Yeah, but it's the Warriors. Like it's Steph Curry is. So yeah, you have to coach, but it's not that much that you know what I'm saying. You can just depend on Steph to come out and knock down a three, or Clay to come out and knock down a three, and it's a whole different game. Or having KD, it's not. Of course, there's coaching involved, but it's not that much. And with Team USA, I think it kind of made him have to coach even to really step in that role and really coach, and not having that star or those stars where if he had Dame and Curry and LeBron,
hitters,
you're not really saying. I mean, you're gonna talk a little bit, but you don't really have to say too much. They know what their
right?
job is. They know what they got to do. These are younger guys who never played on this stage, so it's a whole different vibe. And I know he has some coaches with him, some other great coaches,
Right.
but I wouldn't just put the blame all on him.
How much of this is these other teams, these other players love their country, and they don't have to be coaxed into playing or selected into playing. It's an honor for them to play.
Yeah, it's an honor for them to represent their country and play on this stage and have a chance to compete for to get into the Olympics.
Right.
Some countries that never made it to the Olympics are, you know what I'm saying? So they're playing their hearts out, literally.
So you've got the U.S. losing to Germany by 2, Lithuania by 6, and then the loss to Canada.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's really going to be interesting. I really want to see what they do. Like I said, you can't put it on anyone in specific,
no,
but
you
if I'm
can't.
Grant Hill, I'm looking at this. I mean, I understand you're doing, CBS and TNT, and you're a minority owner, but you're the executive director of USA Basketball.
It's a project.
It's a project where every 2 to 4 years you're going to be out there.
Hmm.
Um, all right, I think we beat up FIBA and USA Basketball enough. Um, Tell us. Well, I want to definitely get with you next time when I clear up the audio and everything else like that on my end. My apologies to this,
Oh
and I'm
yeah,
going
yeah,
to
for sure.
see how bad it was. I should be able to clear up the audio with through the podcast, but we shall see. But I would like to hear a little bit more about your story. Um, Kind of like what's on your plate, what's on your horizon. some of the things that you're working towards right now?
Well, first off, I'm in Arkansas. I'm in Conway, Arkansas. At a NAIA school, Central Baptist College, and obviously we have the season coming up, and this is going to be a big year for me, being this my last year of college. Trying to go out with a bang and potentially play professionally um, next summer, next year. So it's just work, um, practice, games. Really just try and put as much work in as I could and prepare myself for this next journey. But
What do you
also
have to
trying to
do?
stay present in what I got in front of me. So
What do you have to do? We understand the physical side of it, but tell us about the
mhm.
mental side.
Mentally, it's tough, especially for me, because coming out of high school, I didn't have nobody looking at me, no schools. So I went to a prep school, still had no schools, nobody looking at me. Um, then I get hit up by a JUCO in California. I fly out there a week after hearing about them, get hurt that first year, have to sit out.
Explain to the people who might be listening on the podcast or archive stream.
Mhm.
JUCO. Explain to us about JUCO.
JUCO is junior college,
Okay.
2 year thing. It's depending on where you go. I wouldn't even say depending on where you go. JUCO in itself is a different life because you have a bunch of guys who either failed out of school, have bad grades, have real life situations going on, may have kids, may have family issues, or just players that were kind of overlooked that want to go into college and still have a chance to make it to the university level, whether that's D3, D2, or D1. And it's just a group of guys that are just basically fighting for their lives for a year or two, no matter where you're at, whether it's in California or Kansas, or it doesn't really matter. Everybody, for the most part, JUCO players are. It's a it's a different hunger that you have to have and mentality to make it out and strive and keep going with this, especially with basketball. So that's the JUCO level, in my opinion,
Okay.
in my eyes.
So
So
you were in JUCO.
I was in JUCO. Second game of the season, I get hurt, fracture my ankle. Thought it was a sprain. Was icing it like it was a sprain for a week. Swelling never went down, and went to get X-rays, and they told me it was a fracture. So I had to sit out the whole year. That was an experience in itself because now I was fighting to really make it out, and as soon as I get here, I get hurt. So mentally, I mean, you could only imagine what I was going through, just sitting on the sideline and all the way across the country, watching
Right.
games, watching practices every day on
Mm.
crutches, had a boot on. It was different. Um, but then I came home, I rehabbed, recovered, went back out there and ended up playing, had a decent year. We ended up losing in the state playoffs. Um, and then COVID hit. So COVID hit and nobody knew what was going on, if we would ever play again. And during COVID, a couple schools started to reach out to me, Chicago State and Longwood. Those were the first two schools that reached out, Deep Division One, and they offered me scholarships. And then from there, they just started coming in from everywhere. Schools in California, schools in Texas, schools in North Carolina, schools. It was a bunch of schools, and that was the first time I ever felt that. Because coming out, I didn't have anything. So you see social media, you see guys getting offered and all this stuff, and I never
Right.
even knew what an offer really was
Right.
until that time. And I basically wrapped up about 15 to 20 different schools. So I had options, I had choices to choose from, which is like night and day for me.
Right. So I want to stop you right there. I want to stop you
Mm-hmm.
right there and say, so you had 10, 15 offers.
Mm-hmm.
At that point where you had the offers, what did you do? Did you get together with your team, lay out the offers? Did you speak with your parents? What did you do? Like, how did you assess, okay, here's my top five, and then I'm going to whittle it down to, my top two, and this is the college I'm going to choose?
It wasn't like that for me at all.
Okay.
I wasn't prepared for schools coming at me and all that stuff. So it was basically like I would be working out and a school would call me. It'll be a random number from a random state. I'll pick it up. Hello, this is coach from such and such or whatever. And I'll stop my workout, tell them I'm coach, I'm working out, whatever, whatever. Can I give you a call back? Or sometimes I would just, depending on the school, I would just stay on the phone and I'll hear them out, hear what they had to say, and then hang up. And that's all it was. Like I just had it in my okay, this school hit me up. I told my parents or whatever, but that happened probably like 5, 6, 7, 8 times. There's times I was chilling at a restaurant, times I was chilling in bed, and coaches were just calling like random schools out of the blue. And some schools I just knew like, okay, I'm probably not gonna go there. And
Okay.
then there's other schools where, because I never had options before, so every school I'm thinking like, at first when they first called me, every school I'm like, okay, this is a possibility. But as I started to rack up more, it was just like, okay, I probably like this school more than this school, so I'm knocking this one off the list, knocking this one off the list. Okay, I like that one. Depending on how how the conversation went, what they expected out of me, living situation. It was a bunch of stuff that went into the decisions that I made, but um, yeah, it was different for me. I never had options and choices to choose. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think I was as prepared as I could have been in terms of making a decision. Um, but hearing what these coaches had to say, you could kind of like weed certain schools out. And when Fresno State hit me up, it was like, okay, this is one of the bigger schools that hit me up. So that's crazy and alone. Fresno State. I just heard from Chicago State. Now I'm hearing from Fresno State. That's a low D1 to high mid major. So,
Right.
and I know it's not. It's really not about the level when you're choosing the school,
Okay.
but it's more about where you're going to play. And from my conversation that I had with the coach, he was like, you're a New York point guard. We want you to come in, run the show. We see you like to get out in transition. That's kind of how we want to start playing. And it just sounded good. The coach sounded, Coach Hutt. He just sounded like, all right, this is where I want to be. And obviously,
Okay.
it's California. I was already in California for 2 years, so it wouldn't be much of an adjustment. Um, and I didn't just commit right away though. I talked it over with my family. Um, I weighed out the options, but in the back of my mind, I kind of knew like, all right, this is probably
This
gonna be
is
the
it.
one. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This is probably gonna be the one. And once I made that decision, we all, I mean, I made the decision, and they sent me over my paperwork and everything, and I called them, let them know like this is what it's gonna be, and it was a done deal. But it was still COVID during the time, so
Right.
it was like we didn't know when I was gonna have to report to school if we was even gonna have a season. I think I committed in April, so that's barely a month into COVID, so everything's still shut down, nothing's going on. I didn't even have a gym to work out, and I was working out in the backyard. Didn't touch a ball for like a month or two, so it was different.
What would you tell another young person that's just starting to receive offers?
I kind of had this conversation the other day. When it comes down to offers, if first of all, getting the offer is a blessing in itself. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of
Hmm.
kids that are fighting for this. They clawing at it, but they never really get that opportunity, or they never get seen. Or it's always something. You know what I'm saying? So having it is a you got to understand like you're part of a percentage of kids that really want this that don't get the chance. But I would definitely say you got to have those uncomfortable conversations with the coach, like stuff that you talk to your friends about when y'all just chilling.
Mm-hmm.
You have to ask those questions to the coach. Don't just because this is a bigger school, just let them tell you whatever they want to tell you, and then you know what I'm saying. So definitely do your research, look up the school, watch film on how they play, watch film on how the coach reacts. Just all the little details. You know what I'm saying, little stuff that probably gets overlooked because you just see it. Imagine if Duke called me, I'm not about to watch no film on Duke. I'm going. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta look at that. You gotta understand. Anywhere you go, you gotta understand. Anywhere you go, it's going to be competition. But certain schools will offer you different things than from other schools. There was a school that said, "I'm definitely going to play. Like, guaranteed. You come here, you're going to play a certain amount of minutes, whatever, whatever." Fresno never told me that. I knew it was going to be a competition. I knew I was going to have to fight for a spot, but I felt like I'll take that. You know what I'm saying? I'll take that leap. When I
Okay.
could have went to maybe a smaller school and known I was going to play, because back to your question, when it comes down to offers, it's not really about the level. It's really about, are you going to be able to get showcased? Are you going to play pretty much? And
Right.
what are you going to have around you? And you got to kind of plan it out, just like you do anything else. But definitely do your research. I'll definitely say do your research on everything, because at the end of the
Gotcha.
day, the coach is trying to get you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like they're gonna
So it
tell
should
you
be.
everything you want to
Is,
hear.
is it safe to say it should be a two-way street? You should be also interviewing them.
Yes, you have to. Got to interview them because, like I said, they're telling you everything you want to hear because they want you at the school.
Right. Right.
So of course, some coaches might keep it real with you, but it's rare. It's rare you're gonna have a real individual that's gonna be like, "Yo, this is what it's gonna be." They're not doing that because they know that other schools is hitting you up, and
Gotcha.
for some reason, it's easy. It's like with girls. If the baddest girl comes at you and she's like, yeah, yeah, you're 9 times out of 10 you're just gonna jump on it without asking questions. You know what I'm saying? Really figuring out who she really is. You know what I'm saying? That's
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
so it's. I would compare it to that. You know what I'm saying?
Give me some quick thoughts on name, image, and likeness.
It's changed. Naming it's big right now. Honestly, um, to the point where some players are, at least on the female side, a lot of female players are staying in college longer than they have to because they make more money in college than they do in the professionals. But it's big because it actually happened when I was my second year at Fresno. That's when the rule got changed and people we were allowed to make money. And we had these set of twins at my school in Fresno, the Cavender twins. They were the first athletes to get a deal. They had a billboard in New York City and with Boost Mobile and WWE and and they were to the point where they're making more than their coaches.
Yeah.
So that's like a whole. So now college players are able to. I mean, I feel like it should have been like this, but it's kind of crazy when you have social media and these Shador Sanders, he has almost a million followers. All these players have almost a million followers just for performing at the level that they're performing at, and
Right.
I think it's good for the players. I think we're starting to get into more business mindsets and having to make real life decisions and being able to get real money from this. But it's also kind of scary because it's making the transfer portal insane. A
Yes.
guy might go to Hofstra, average 25, and transfer to Duke, and now he might not average 25, but he might make 25,000. You know what I'm saying? He might make 250,000. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of, I don't know. It's interesting. NIL stuff for all
Got it.
sports too. Because if you have a following, you win.
Yes.
Regardless of what you do, what school you at, what you could be D3. If you have 100,000 followers on Instagram, you're gonna make money. Companies are going to reach out to you. You can sell our product. You can promote this. You can promote that. Post a little picture. Like, it's
Got it.
different.
Got it. Listen, there's so much I want to speak to you about. So many different topics and questions. Just being a young athlete. So I definitely want to definitely have you back.
No, definitely. If you have any more questions, I'm not in a rush to get off. If you want to keep going, but it's up to you.
Right. So what I'm gonna do is I want to make sure that this audio isn't as crappy as the feedback as that I'm receiving.
Hmm.
So we're gonna stop the interview at this point,
Okay.
and what I'll do is based on your availability, have you come back. And I hope we don't have to re-record this, but we'll
If we
see.
do, we do. I ain't
Yeah,
bad.
definitely. So Kyle, definitely want to thank you for jumping on really quick. If anyone wanted to follow you on social media, what's your handle?
On Instagram, it's Kyle Harding 0. That's my Instagram. And then on Twitter, I'm on Twitter. It's IBG_K1.
All right. Kyle, we
Yeah.
want to thank you again.
Thank you.